Mariam Solaimankhil is an Afghan MP representing the Kuchis. She joins me now from Kabul. Mariam, great to have you on the program. You represent the Kuchis in Parliament, and as a nomadic pastoral community, the Kuchis are considered among the most vulnerable in Afghanistan, and yet they've reportedly been quite supportive of the Taliban over the years and have faced some racism for this from other communities. How do you see their fate impacted by the Taliban's reported gains in Afghanistan?
Well, the Kuchi people are caught in the crossroads between the government and the Taliban, and that's due to their mobility and seasonal migration. On the other hand, due to poverty and the lack of access to education, it makes them even more vulnerable. But associating them with the Taliban or making them seem ethnically driven is a false narrative because Kuchis don't represent one ethnicity. It's a way of life that is representative of different Afghan ethnicities such as Arabs, Turkmens, Pashtuns, even Hazaras and Tajiks. So they're on the front line of the war, being used as shields and also being recruited.
So a very difficult situation that they are in. But as a woman in Parliament, how do you feel about prospects for the continued role of women in the political sphere in the coming months? Peace talks in Doha are ongoing, and yet the Taliban appears to have amplified its military campaign.
Well, the women of Afghanistan are no longer the women of the 90s. They're much more aware of their rights and have access to various platforms like media, government, and socio-political organizations. I'm very confident that Afghan women will make it themselves heard. But unfortunately, we've been sidelined in the peace talks. There have been no talk about what's going to happen with women, minorities at all. And so that's our hard red line.
Well, as a woman living in Kabul, just talk us through the mood of other women in that city, especially as the Taliban advances, that we hear more reports of them taking more areas in the northwest of the country. How do women in the capital, Kabul, feel?
They're terrified. We see it as it's our red line. It's non-negotiable. Minority rights, women's rights, human rights. It's the fundamental values of our constitution. And the government has absolute leverage when it comes to this because, one, it's ensured in our constitution, and secondly, the government mandate stems from the trust of the people, which makes up 51% of the population, which are women.
Do you feel that the people trust the government, especially now?
Yes, and you can see it. The people are scared, but they do trust the government. Anyone who has retreated in the war, they've come back in. They're back fighting. And you can see how scared the people are when you look at the passport offices. They're full of people. They do not want to be under the Taliban control again. And basically, we have no other option but to stand by our government. It brought us to where we are right now. Tens of thousands of women are working, they're active, they're being educated, and it's beautiful to see.
The Americans have promised to continue supporting the Afghan government and providing aid once the complete withdrawal is done. But do you think this will actually happen?
I do, and I think it's because a win for terrorists in Afghanistan is a win for terrorists internationally. If the Americans totally abandon Afghanistan like they did in the 90s, you'll see that 30-plus terrorist organizations in Pakistan start using Afghanistan as a breeding pool once again, which will have global consequences. And I think if the Americans are smart, they will maintain and support for a democratic system in Afghanistan.
Mariam Solaimankhil, really great to have you on the program. Thank you so much
Thank you.
speaking to us there from Kabul.